Hi everybody, welcome to Wonderland session number 12. I'm not even going to count on my fingers anymore because it takes too long. But I'm very excited that we're now up to number 12, and this session is all about answering the questions that you guys asked me today. So I put out a call on my Instagram and I said, what do you guys want to know? And I got so many questions, which is amazing. I'm really excited to tackle them. I've picked 3 because I want to go into detail on each of them. I don't want to just give you vague little answers. I really want to go deep with them. And I think that these answers will help everyone that's watching because these are all things that we all deal with from time to time. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm excited to be doing a Q&A because it's kind of like a catch-up session, right? Like most of these sessions, I've been outlining concepts for you and teaching you about something specific. But often when these things come up, we end up with questions like, well, what about this? And is this okay? And how do I deal with this or that or the other thing? So that is what we're going to do today. It's some maintenance. It's some cleaning up some questions. It's going to be amazing. Are you ready? I am ready. So here we go. The first question was from Daniela. And she asked, what is the difference between being content and being bored? And she said that she feels a certain sense of angst when things are going smoothly. And what the fuck is that all about? What does that mean? Does that mean that she's somehow wrong? Is she just insufferable? Does that mean she should leave every relationship and every job when she feels that way? Like, what is the answer there? So, here is my answer to the feeling content versus feeling bored question. The first thing is that feeling bored is actually great. It's a great place to be. If you look at the emotional scale where you have like depression on the very bottom, and then above that you have anger and all the way up, and then you have boredom somewhere in the middle, and then you have, like happiness and optimism and joy and ecstasy, and it goes like that, right? So boredom is exactly in the middle. You're in that middle point. And that's a fantastic place to be because your life could be so much worse. You could be in depression, you could be in anger, you could be in doubt, you could be in misery. So relish the fact that you are in boredom and be thankful because there are so many people watching this right now that wish they were in boredom. Holy shit, they wish they were in boredom. So the trick to dealing with this when you feel like, oh, am I content? Am I bored? What should I do? Is to jump into massive appreciation. So first of all, just appreciation that you're not lower down on the scale. And then appreciation for all the things that you have in your life that are good. Like if you're feeling content, that means that things are working for you. It means that your manifestations are coming true and maybe you've just been sitting in them for a while and so the gloss has kind of come off them. Because that's the thing about manifesting what we want, right? And creating the things that we want in our lives. We get them, it's thrilling for a little bit, and then we're like, okay, now what? So it's important to appreciate. So spend some time in appreciation when you're feeling this way, and it will start to really switch up how you're feeling. You'll start to move out of boredom/contentment, and it'll move you a little higher on the emotional scale. The second thing about being in boredom is that means that you are just about to start creating some new shit. Because nobody stays in boredom for long. We always go from boredom to creating something. It means that you are like just on the cusp of something exciting. So if you're not sure about what should you do, where should you go next, blah, 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 I want you to sit down and start thinking about the things you would like in your life. And it's crucial to think of them as like, what would I like to add to my life, rather than thinking about what is lacking in my life. We want to come at it from a place of enthusiasm and joyfulness and curiosity and like, how much better could my life really be, rather than what's lacking, where do I not have enough, where do I not feel worthy, where do things suck. So those are two ends of a stick, and you want to be on the end of like, how can I make life more fun? How can I make life more sexy, more interesting, more spontaneous, right? So sit down and have a think about those things, and then just honor the fact that you are a human being, that you are alive, and the fact that you have these periods of contentment/boredom, and that then moves into desire means that you are alive, means that you are growing, means that you are changing, means that you are not stuck and stagnant. So I want you to spend some time doing that and just getting into the flow of it. And also recognizing that you are going to be in this same place of boredom/contentment over and over and over again in your life. And to just really get comfortable with that and to get okay with it and to learn to ride that wave for what it is and learn to appreciate when you're there, because that's what we're all striving for most of the time, right? When we're finding something difficult, all we really want is for things to just feel calm and feel good and for us to feel contented. So enjoy the fact that you are there. Don't feel bad about it. It doesn't make you psycho. The fact that you are going to want more very soon is a sign that you're alive, that you're human, and that everything is going well. So that is my answer to Daniela's question, and I hope that this was helpful for anyone else that is dealing with something similar. Here is our second question. It's from Nadi, I think that's how you say your name, and the question is about anger. She said that she has manifested a whole lot of really great things in her life and she's happy about it, but she's also feeling a lot of anger lately. She's upset about where she feels that people have wronged her, where they shouldn't have treated her the way that they did, and it's really pissing her off. And she doesn't want to suppress her anger because she feels like that's unhealthy, but she also feels like being in her anger pulls her out of the vortex. And so what the fuck do you do in a situation like that? What do you do with a problem like Maria? So let me just drink this and I'll answer the question. So this is a super common question too, right? Every single one of us watching this gets pissed off from time to time. Things happen that we don't fucking like and we get angry about it. We get steamed, we're mad, and then we're like, oh, but all my thoughts are creating my things, and what am I doing here law of attraction wise, and how do I clean this up? So here are some points for you. And again, this is also, we're going to refer to the emotional scale. But first of all, I want you to know this. Nobody is in the vortex 24/7. I'm going to say that again. Nobody is in the vortex 24/7. Not only because it's impossible to be in that frame of mind 24/7, but also because without contrast, aka the things that we don't like, we won't be able to get information about what we do like and what we do want and where we want to go. Without the contrast, there's nothing happening. There's no grit in our lives to create any pearls. So the contrast is important. So yeah, occasionally you will come up against things that piss you off and people that are rude to you and all kinds of things. So you can't be in the vortex all the time. Hopefully this piece of information takes the pressure off you a little bit, where you feel like you always have to be there, because I promise you that you don't have to be there all the time. It's not realistic. Like, please, chill, take a load off, have a glass of wine. It's cool. Nobody feels good 24/7. The second thing is anger is better than depression, right? So feeling depressed is the lowest place on the scale. There's no momentum to it. There's no energy. You just want to lie down in your sweatpants and never talk to anybody again. It's a terrible, terrible way to feel. It sucks. So anger is above depression on the scale. Anger is where, like, there's movement in your body. There's rage that needs to be expressed. You have things you want to say. You want to, like, get it out in some way. You want to get things off your chest, as they say, which is really just about moving your body and getting the feelings through it, right? So here's the deal with anger. It's okay to express it. And in fact, it's really important to express it. But here is the key. Only express it until you feel a sense of relief. That is the goal. The goal is to, like, crack the edge of the lid of that steaming pot and let the steam out. Not to take the lid off the pot completely and then dump the burning water all over yourself. The idea is just to take the fucking pressure off. So when you feel angry, it's okay to express it. If you want to yell, if you want to punch a pillow, if you want to write a sternly worded email that you don't send, it's cool. Do that. But do it until you feel a sense of relief. And when it doesn't feel good to express it anymore, then stop. That's it. It's really that simple. The second thing to remember is that anger, after a certain point, can just be a state of suffering. And so you have a choice as to whether you want to suffer actively or whether you've decided, like, you know what, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer. Life is not worth that. I want to feel good. I want to feel good all the time, as much as possible. That's my priority, and staying in this place doesn't help me. So learning to just drop the feelings as soon as you can. So express it until you feel a sense of relief, and then let it go. Now, this is something that you are going to be practicing probably for the rest of your life. None of us are born knowing how to do this. It's not instantly easy for any of us, but it is worth practicing. The other thing I would like to say gently is, if you feel that people are not treating you perhaps as you would like to be treated or you wish to be treated, you may want to ask yourself, what is my vibration and what am I contributing to this situation? In my experience, these things do not happen within a vacuum. It is very, very rare that we are walking around at our highest vibing selves, feeling really good, and people are rude to us for literally no reason. They're usually picking up on something about our energy that maybe we're not totally aware of. It might be some subconscious stuff, and they're kind of just mirroring it back at us. So you might like to ask yourself, if you feel like this is happening to you regularly or a lot, ask yourself, what is my side of the dance here? It's important that we're able to take responsibility for ourselves and own what's going on with us and own what we're contributing to the situation. So ask yourself, like, am I walking around in kind of a bad mood? Or am I taking things out on people? Or am I not really showing up? Or am I not really giving them the thing that I wish that they were giving me? And then I expect that they should give it to me even though I'm not giving it to them. And then why is that happening? And blah, blah, blah. So just gently, what are you contributing to the situation? What's your vibe? Clean it up. Think about it from there. Okay. Question number 3 is from Rosario, who said, what can I do about social anxiety? That was it. It was like a very brief question. What do I do about social anxiety? So it's a great question because a lot of us feel social anxiety on a regular basis. And in fact, I feel social anxiety sometimes too. Every time I'm about to go to like a big event or party or something where I don't know what the people are going to be like or how things are going to be happening or whatever, I feel anxiety too. I feel a bit of a knot in my stomach before I go out. I kind of feel a little bit nauseous. But I know that that is just part of the process for me. I know that's just something that is happening, and that's okay. So here is the deal with social anxiety. I have a few tricks for you. I've written them down. I have notes as always, you know, Virgo life, always got notes. So, number 1 about going out is set an intention for your evening. I say this to people all the time. Set an intention for your evening. Do you want to make one friend? Do you want to dance? Do you want to be there for 45 minutes and be in your like most confident self and then fucking bail and go home? Do you want to compliment 3 girls on their cute outfits? It doesn't matter what it is, just set yourself an intention. It'll help you get out the door, it'll help you get out of yourself, it'll help you to feel good in these situations. And often these intentions, I find the most useful ones are when you are contributing something to the vibe of wherever you're going. So you can contribute to the vibe by dancing. You can contribute to the vibe by buying somebody a drink or telling someone you like their outfit or like approaching a lonely looking person and like making a little bit of conversation with them. What can you do to bring up the vibe of the room? And that will help you step out of your like self-consciousness and your like obsession about how you're appearing to others and all of that stuff. So that's one thing. Set an intention. Well, it's actually 2 things. Set an intention and add to the room in some way. Very, very important. So then what I would like for you to do is before you leave the house, I want you to focus on your positive aspects. What's great about you? What's awesome about you? Why would people want to talk to you? Why would people want to strike up a conversation with you? Just remind yourself of why you're amazing. And if that's tricky for you, text a friend and be like, hey, I'm going to a thing. I'm a little bit anxious about it. Can you remind me why I'm cool? And I'm sure that your friends will be more than happy to oblige you. And then screenshot those conversations, put them into a folder on your phone it's called like feeling good, so you can refer back to it whenever you need it. Create yourself a Rolodex of information about why you are the shit, so that whenever you have those doubts come up, you can squash them like a bug. Squash them like a bug. The other thing is that it's important that we are active in becoming the people that we want to be. So if you are like feeling anxious and you wish that you could be more charismatic, realistically, the only way to do that is to start acting more charismatically. The only way out is through. So we can dance around it for as long as we want, but ultimately we have to start taking action that cements a new story for us. Because a lot of what's happening is we're telling ourselves a story that's holding us back. So you're telling yourself like, I'm shy, or you're telling yourself, I get really anxious in social situations, or you're telling yourself like, I don't know how to talk to people, or I'm awkward in public, or whatever these stories are. So you need to start writing yourself a new story and then telling yourself those things on a regular basis. And not just telling yourself, but taking action. One of the best ways to take action is to get into the vortex first. Get into the vortex first. Feel good first, then take inspired action. It's so much easier. You won't need a game plan all figured out beforehand, because if you feel good, you'll just be like in it and it'll be easy. So it's important to stop telling yourself the story that I'm socially anxious, I don't know how to talk to people, I'm awkward, I never know what to say. All of that stuff is just bullshit. And it's time to start behaving differently. The only way that these things are going to change is if you start to behave differently. And you can do this. This is something that you can teach yourself to do, and it's easy. And what you'll realize is when you go out into the world and you are more charismatic or more confident and you do make an effort, even if you feel like you're being phony or it's like really disingenuous or you feel really fucking uncomfortable, you'll notice that people are responding to you in a really positive way. They'll smile at you, they'll compliment your outfit, they'll make conversation with you, they'll approach you because your body language is different, and you'll realize like, hey, A, this works, B, it's fun, and C, it's easy. So I want you to start telling yourself what you want to hear. So I was in a car with my boyfriend a couple of nights ago, and I was thinking about the fact that sometimes I really wish that he would just tell me like some affirmative things. Like I just want him to like pump me up and be my cheerleader and you know, remind me how great I am and all of these things. And I was sitting there and I was kind of feeling annoyed about it for a little while, and then I was like, you know what? He's actually doing me a favor, because when he refuses, or not refuses, but when he doesn't tell me the things that I really want to hear, I am then forced to do it for myself. So instead of me being like, oh, I feel really anxious about going to this party, and him being like, you'll be fine, or saying something else, I was like, okay, what do I wish he would say to me? And it was like, you look amazing, you're a really interesting person to talk to, you're really friendly and open, and you make people feel good and present when you talk to them. Like, you can make friends with anybody in that room. Don't sweat it. And I realized just by asking myself, like, what do I wish he was telling me, I was able to tell myself. And it was much stronger because I truly know those things. And there's no doubt of like, oh, maybe he's just saying it to like make me feel better and he doesn't actually mean it. I can say those things to myself, and I know that I really mean it. It's true. It's like a true expression of who I really am. And so that's really helpful. And when we're doing things like this, it's important to know that the language that we use can expand the way that we feel. So me telling myself those things enabled me to go into this situation feeling much more confident, standing much more openly and more proudly, and like making conversation with people and having a really good time. So that is my answer for social anxiety. Of course, there's other things that you can do. You could do hypnosis, you could tap on it, you could do meditations and affirmations around it. But honestly, I think a lot of that stuff might be just further entrenching the point that you have a problem. And I don't think that continually telling yourself that you have this problem is going to help you as much as thinking about like, I want to feel really good first, and then I'm going to act. And even if that acting makes me feel slightly uncomfortable, it's going to help me get to that next place. It's going to help me be the person that I want to be. So those are our 3 questions. What do we do if we feel content/bored? What do we do? The answer being, appreciate the fact that you're there, make a list of what you want, and then get excited because some shit is about to change for you, and that's amazing. Question number 2 was, what do we do about anger? Are we okay to express it? What do we do? The answer is express the feeling until you feel relief and then stop. And remember that suffering is optional. You don't have to stay there. So express it and then drop it and move the fuck on. And then question number 3 was about social anxiety. The answer is focus on your positive aspects about yourself. Set an intention before you leave the house. Feel good first, then act. Stop telling yourself the story that you're socially anxious, and tell yourself what you want to hear and allow your language to expand how you feel. That's it. I hope those were all helpful for you today. Thank you all so much for all the questions you submitted on my Instagram today. I have enough material forever. I will reply to some more of them in our next week's session. So again, thank you so much for sending those through. I have to go to the gym now. It's like a very busy day for me. We're going to Tony Robbins tomorrow in San Jose. I'm really excited. I will report back. It will be amazing. I love you. Have a beautiful day.